Good morning, good morning. How you guys doing? Just leave a comment for me so that I know. Alright, good. You can hear me okay. Good, well, welcome. Another Friday, another morning session, I should say. Friday is here. We're coming to an end of February. We're starting a new month. So it's going to be an interesting time because we're going to be looking at the monthly charts. And we're going to be looking at how the monthly chart has closed. Very interesting time because many times we're looking at monthly charts and we're waiting for bullish engulfs or bearish engulfs, a whole bunch of things we could be looking for. So every time a month ends, it's always an interesting time because it reveals a lot of information to us. So welcome. I got your requests, many requests. So I have a list to work off of for this morning. And it looks like you guys want to look at US dollar, Japanese yen, euro, gold is on the list. But I have a few other ones on my list that I think are important. So let's start by taking a look at the S&P 500. Here she is. Let me bring up my pen. And you can see that that demand area that we had talked about has not broken, so it's holding. Okay, so you see how that came into play there? Price came down, removed the first demand zone, came down to the second one, and is holding that demand area. And we get the push to the upside. All right. But overall, look what's happening with price. Okay. It's just remaining in a range. Not much to see here. All right. So just sitting in a range, and you can see that on the daily chart, just multiple days to the side. We already spoke about the structure of price here and how it's not the greatest to hold. But we could still see more highs in the market. It depends on whether or not the bankers come in and continue buying. What I will tell you is when we look at the monthly chart, we have a really nice basing area and one momentum candle to the upside. So could we get another momentum candle to the upside? Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. There was a point where we were watching this candle and we were watching the next candle being produced, and it started to creep up past the wick of this candle, which gave us an indication that we were likely going to see medium-term momentum to the upside. And that is exactly what took place. Okay. And we figured that out just by looking at the candles that were being produced on the monthly chart. So can it go higher? Yes, I think it can. We would need to see new buying coming in, all right? It's not because of the structure being built on the daily chart, I can tell you that. So so this range that we have here on the 2-hour chart, I would be watching for, again, the break of this demand for price to drop or a close above this range for momentum to continue higher. Okay, but we'll go to Mara next. We were talking about this one the other day, and I was talking about how massive supply came into play here, and we had earnings at that point, and people were a little bit confused as to why earnings were positive and price was dropping. Well, it was because supply came into play, and that's what happens when supply comes into play. Price will drop. So if somebody is thinking about getting in long this one, I'd be watching for reaction from this area, which is what's happening now. So I'd be looking at the lower time frames, watching to see if price starts building momentum to the upside. And what would that look like? Well, you could turn it down to a 1-hour chart. Here we go. So here's that area down here. Okay. This is the area down here. Big move to the downside. Let me see. Yeah, it looks like some basing is happening here. I would break it down even further. 15-minute chart. Looks like there's a supply here. Break above this supply here would signal move to the upside. First target here, second target up here. And you can have a third target even higher if you wanted. But that, I think, is a pretty good way to look at it. All right, so that's Mara. CRM. So we had earnings the other day, and they were positive, and now we are seeing price rallying really aggressively into this area of supply, which is a good sign. Okay, it's telling me that we're likely going to get this area to be taken out. And if we get that area taken out, then it's clear sailing even higher. Okay, so it's on the verge of it. And to me, it looks like it's going to happen. All right, we have that supply here on the weekly chart. If that gets taken out, yeah, it could definitely just shoot up. I'd like to watch for something like that for an entry long. Okay. I think they just introduced a dividend, so I think a lot of investors are getting excited about this one. But this looks really good. This looks really good for a continued move higher. So keep it on your watch list. If you like trading stocks, this is a stock that I would definitely have. Okay. How's everything going on your end? Is everything streaming okay? Can you leave me a message? Leave me a comment in the YouTube. Is the streaming going okay? Everything running okay? PLTR. So we were talking about this one. I'm going to keep this on my watch list because, again, we had price contact this area of supply here. It started the drop, and then now we're getting this big bullish momentum candle to the upside. All right. So I'm watching to see whether or not this is the banks coming in and buying, and whether or not they're going to plow through that area of supply. If they do, then I might be interested in buying this one. Okay, so we'll see what happens, but it might be pretty good for a long position. Can you guys leave me a message in the YouTube chat? Let me know how the streaming experience is for you guys. I just want to make sure everything is running okay. ROST stores. This one's big. Okay, they're big in the States. In Canada, no, we don't have them, but in the States, they're really big. And I'm pointing this one out because it's making all-time highs, and they're coming in with a lot of buying right here. Okay, there's a lot of buying coming over here. So if price was to do something like this, I'm interested in buying here, the 140 area. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set an alert just above this area, like that. Double click it. Oops. No. Add alert to horizontal ray. Here we go. Once per bar. Monthly magic zone for entry. All right, there you go. Good stock. Lots of buying coming in. Perfect spot to be buying. All right, so I just wanted to point that out to you. SMCI, I was telling you about how supply was created here on the daily chart. As you can see, right here, supply was created, price came in, and now it's just sitting sideways. So to buy it, this supply would have to be removed. Otherwise, the pressure will be to the downside. All right, this is a big mover. And I know a lot of people were asking about it and are looking at it. So that's what's going on. It's daily supply that's in play, which suggests that the momentum will be to the downside. And so just keep an eye on that one, all right? If you want to buy, that supply has to be out. Otherwise, the pressure is going to be to the downside, okay? Let's look at Tesla. A lot of people were wondering why Tesla was dropping. Well, first of all, Elon Musk was getting out of shares, $4 billion worth, which caused the initial drop down, which is this here. Okay. This is big money getting out of shares. All right. When price eventually got back up, guess what? They continued getting out of shares. That's why price was moving like this, right? Now you can see price is reacting to something down here. And that's basically, this is over here on the weekly chart. This is a demand area that was contacted down here. And so now we're getting medium-term pressure to the upside. So as you can see, since it came into play, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks that have played out, slowly moving to the upside. So we're in a range, okay, between supply and demand. If price is going to go higher, this area needs to be taken out. If price is going to go lower, this area needs to be taken out. Until then, price will be in a range. Okay? So if you trade Tesla, or you just want to know what's going on with Tesla, there you have it. CNI, I was looking and reading an article this morning, and it was talking about some of the biggest holdings that Bill Gates has. And one of them is Canadian National Railway. I'm not quite sure why he'd want to own Canadian National Railway, but it is doing well, as you can see. Significant buying area here, just in the low 100s. Okay, price came in, they bought. Price came in, they bought. Price came in, they bought. And now we're getting another push to the upside. If price drops down to that area, I think that's a good place to be buying. Okay, just my personal opinion. I think that's a good place to be buying because it's really being held up from buying, right? You see the bullish engulf here on the 6-month chart? Let me open that up for you. Look at this chart, guys. I mean, it's since the 2000s, it's been, nothing but upwards momentum. This is a 6-month chart. And if you look at the 6-month chart, you can see right here, there was a bullish engulf, right? That's significant buying coming in. This is big, big, big money investing in this corporation. And as you can see, price has not dropped lower than that area, which means we're likely seeing an accumulation of shares here. So if you like to invest in good companies with good management that's backed up by big money that pays a decent dividend, and you're looking to park money for a long period of time to grow your wealth, this is a decent company to put your money in, at least from what I'm seeing on the charts. So now you know exactly where is the buying taking place from the banks, from the old money, family offices down this area, okay? And so I thought that would be one to point out in your direction. Another one that Bill Gates has is waste management. And this one's also doing extremely well, okay? It pays a decent a dividend as well. The last significant area of buying is right here. The last significant area of buying. Is price going to drop down like that to get to that area? I don't know. If it did, I'd be a buyer of waste management in the 160s. That's for damn sure. I would be buying there. But I don't know if it's going to drop all the way down there. But I could just tell you that that is the latest area of significant buying by the big players. So waste management, again, another big holding of Bill Gates. And I mean, you look over the years, it's just been nothing but upside. Okay. So this is a decent stock to park your money in and just leave it. Waste management's always going to be around, right? It's just one of those things, necessary things. Quick look at Bitcoin. We're reacting from supply, as I was mentioning. If you look at the 4-hour chart, price contacted a supply area, and then it dropped. Slight move to the upside. Bottom line is we have supply in play, If you're thinking about going long, now's not the time to be doing that. Okay. The USCAD. You guys wanted to look at USCAD. Let me see here. So USCAD, we've been watching for some upside momentum. Okay. And the first inclination that we got that we were going to be witnessing some short to medium term pressure to the upside was when we were looking at the U.S. Swiss, actually. U.S. Swiss had some significant demand that came into play. And so we knew that it was likely price was going to be pushed to the upside. And so therefore we saw USCAD follow in the footsteps. Yesterday I was checking retail sentiment. I saw that they were at 86%. Let me just refresh my screen here and see what USCAD's at now. 81%. So as you can see, they've reduced their short exposure to 81% and not much of a move in price. Okay, so there's no significant emotional trading going on here. This is just sideways trading, and they reduced it from 86 to 81%. If they would have gotten retail up into the 90s, then I would suspect that we would see eventually a big drop in price. But that's not happening. It's very controlled. Nothing significant happening on this chart. Okay. If I look at price action on the daily chart, I'm looking at this structure here to determine what this means. You know, it's a move to the upside, yes, but is it important? Are the banks creating it? Is there any type of structure in this that I should be aware of? And from what I'm seeing, I don't see a proper structure to the upside here. Okay, I don't see a proper ascending structure. I mean, you could connect a trend line like this, but this trend line is useless. All right. It's not important, which is telling me that the bank's not creating an ascending structure for any sustainable purpose. So, you know, there's not much to go on here. I'm waiting for some significant move. On the weekly chart, we're stuck in a range, and we have been stuck in a range for a very long time. There's something significant happening up here. It's just going to take some time for it to play out. So in terms of any significant moves that I suspect are going to happen, you know, because they dropped from 86 to 81%, the retail sentiment, and, you know, it was under very controlled circumstances, it tells me that retail traders are not emotionally at the level to aggressively switch positions. So, you know, if that's not going to take place, then we're not going to see any big moves. So we're going to have to wait for next week to come and see if there's any data releases that are going to put things into overdrive. So far, I'm not seeing it. All right. US dollar, Japanese yen. Look at that one. Okay. Look at from our magic zone. This is our magic zone. This is our zone that we drew where we suspected big buying was going to be taking place here. Okay. So we see price came in, tested it, moved up. Came in, tested it, moved up. So this is looking pretty good. This is telling me that we are likely, the bias is upside. Okay? That's the bias. This is my bias, is that price is going to go to the upside. Could something else happen? Yes, something else could happen. But I don't have a crystal ball to determine exactly what is going to play out. I have to look at the charts, look at the supply and demand dynamics, and determine from what is playing out, what is likely going to play out. And so what I'm seeing is that what's likely is price is going to move higher. Okay? So if that is the case, then we look at the euro US dollar, and we suspect that the euro US dollar is going to be moving lower. And, you know, if we look at the daily chart, what do we see? We see Some basing candles, but not exactly a bearish engulf. But decent basing, and then the big momentum candle to the downside, and now we're basing again. Okay. Biases to the downside because of looking at correlations with other markets and so forth. But you know, if we break it down to the 4-hour chart, is there any type of downside momentum that's being built here? You know, we get moves to the downside and then we get reversals. Then we get moves to the downside and we get reversals. Right now, retail traders are 51% short. So as you can see, just like with the US dollar, Japanese yen, there have been shifts in retail sentiment, but it's been very controlled. Okay? Very controlled. So 51%, you know, they went from 65 here. And them, the retail traders offloading shorts to get into longs caused price to drop. So they went from 65 to 51, and now we're here. So you can see, not really anything aggressive. So it looks like at this point, the next move might be just brought on by the institutions just making a drive in price. So they'll probably drop price really aggressively and lure retail traders in with the aggressive move. And then that will get things to start moving. Let me take a look really quickly at the calendar for next week. It might give us some indication of what's to come. Let me see here. Monday we got inflation data for the yen. Tuesday, not much. Durable goods. Wednesday, GDP growth rate. Thursday, personal income, jobless claims. That might get things going. Friday, yeah, nothing huge, but we may get something out of the data coming out next week. All right. Gold, you guys love gold. Yeah, there's been some momentum to the upside, and we were explaining to you why, because we had institutional demand coming into play. But look at this very weak momentum. This is not strong, guys. I would not be, you know, getting very excited about gold here. If we look at retail sentiment, let's take a quick peek there. So they were 72% here, and now let's see, gold is 72%. It's the same thing. Nothing's really changed. Okay, we're still at 72% here. So it's not good. It's not good. I'd love to see them get these numbers higher in the 80s and then 90s. That's what I would like to see. And then a drop in price because, you know, with the euro US dollar forecasted to go down, you know, the two are in correlation with each other. You know, let's bring up the euro US dollar here and take a look at them side by side. And you'll see that there is a correlation here. All right, the orange is the euro US dollar. Let's make it a little bit thicker so you can see that. All right, boom, there. Orange line is euro US dollar. Gold and euro is in line. The only thing I would be suggesting is that it looks like recently gold has had more upside than the euro. And there's a reason for that. Okay, context, right? When you look at the CFTC data and you look at the euro US dollar, what does it tell you? That they're offloading long positions. So there's a reason why it's lagging. So I suspect that if this goes, this goes. So it seems like gold has more to drop than the euro, just to catch up with where the euro's at. All right. So that's what I'm seeing with gold. All right. So I wouldn't be focused on buying. I think longer term gold's going to go higher, but it's not the time for it now. Okay. And this is going to turn over. I'd love to see retail traders get into the 85 percentages around there, and then that trigger a move to the downside. I think that's pretty much it, folks. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So, I hope you enjoyed today's session. It is a Friday, and every Friday we have a level 3 session with members. So we're going to go into the markets in much more in depth than we do here on these live sessions. This is just a brief general overview of what I'm seeing, some of the key markets that I know you guys are looking at, and things to watch out for, and just some overall thoughts. In level 3, we go into more details. We look at structure and supply and demand, and we break down exactly what the banks are doing and why they're doing it, and the storyline behind price and all that really good stuff. So if you're a student, a new member with us, you do have access to level 3. So make sure you sign up for that. And if you don't know where to find that, you can just click on the logo on our school site. And you go to classroom sessions, level 3, first quarter. And there you go, register for